Oh, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rough one. I think it's kind of thrown in there as a pick from Fate just because, well, I don't think there's any other map that they could have chose and been like, yeah, we have a good time on this one. Obviously, they've played it a few times over the past few months. Haven't been like stomped out on it by any means. They've all been close games. They've been able to get into the double digits each time. But it's also one of those maps where I think Wisla might have had an idea that it was coming out in the series, if not the pick. So they could have put some preparation into this if they wanted to. And yeah, no, I think it's going to be tough. Maybe this is the one map that can go the way of Fate. This is. What do you think, Wolfie? Is this the one map that could go the way of Fate and could maybe bring us towards a 3-map series?
I want to believe. I want to hope for this Fate roster. They've been around a while. They've been a team that I've casted a lot of. You know, when you've got the experience behind them, you want them to do something special, and they're going straight for the rush into the A bomb site early on. Nikki managing to get some good control, and interestingly, Wisla really not interested in it at all. Jedka's going to catch the backstab onto Patrick, but Bomb going to go down regardless. A 5-on-4 retake for the CT side to start things off tonight.
Yeah, decent position with the nades that they have available, especially. They are not in too much of a rush to make this one happen, but, well, as the kills keep coming in their favor, I don't think they want to sit back for too long either. As Ponchek and Hades, they give all of the openings. It's actually 3 coming in from long. Hades, did he even have anyone look at him there, Wolfie? I think he was just able to shoot them all in the side as they were distracted by the short push that was coming in. So, yeah, flawless round from Wisla. You don't see a retake coming in that smoothly very often at all.
That round played out really weirdly. Fate took the apartment's control, went straight down. You saw Wisla thinking about the mid aggression, right? 4 players in and around that bracket area, and they just passed each other by. I think really that's the reason the retake was able to come in so cleanly. Wisla not losing any players before the bomb goes down. A nice initial pick from Jedka to try and make it happen. But of course, Fate still able to buy up pretty strongly. That bomb plant giving them the extra finances despite not being able to land a single kill in that opening round. They're still getting out a couple of Galils, Mac 10, Deagle, Tech 9, and decent utility behind it as well. So Wisla by no means able to be complacent here, and you can see it as they start to use the early utility. Molotov to stop the fast app rush, and Fate, well, they're just waiting the util out.
Yeah, you don't really need to be in too much of a rush when you have this force buy-in. As you said, let the CTs drop a few of those nades, give your weapons then the chance to actually work entries later on in the round rather than just being naded and mollied off as soon as you try and move in. There is still a little bit left as well in the hands of Sparrow over here on B, so that molly certainly could complicate things, but it's not like the side of Fate are lacking completely. They have some mollies, they have some smokes as well, likely to be put down towards the CT and construction, which means they wouldn't have one left over for the molly. So we'll see if that's how it plays out or not. But here we go. The hit's going to be coming in. Nice timing on the molly drop. Sparrow with just the MP9, and actually both of them are playing from back into spawn right now. So it gives the chance for the boost at the very least to try and catch a kill as the push comes in. But it might come down to another retake setup here. Of course, depending on how the frags go. And, well, okay, they've decided to just push straight through construction. It was just the MP9, and they already had a pretty firm hold on the round at that point in the 4-on-2, I believe it was. But yeah, still a little bit risky there. Either way, Wisla, they make it work. They only drop one player up against the force buy from Fate, and, well, they'll have another easy round here, very likely to keep building on that economy, because Fate obviously can't really afford much apart from maybe a couple of pistols, and even then, that's a bit dodgy. You need those nades in the next round.
Yeah, it was that lack of utility again, really scuppering Fate. As the early smoke goes down, there's a counter Molotov from Wisla, and they don't have a second smoke for CT, so they've got to go quickly. There's no more util to start locking out the angles. It's just mollies to flush players out. And well, it's all too easy, right? Player boosted over the top of the smoke gets 2, MP9 goes rushing in a 1-for-1, and you're in the perfect spot. And now should be cleanup time for the Wisla boys. Ponchek fully blinded, going to find his 3rd of the round. It really is just mopping up these frags. Sparrow going to be able to grab himself one on the MP9 as well. I think rocking, I mean, even a frag at this point would be great. Just take one of those rifles away if you can, but he's going to be swarmed from all sides. Does hit the first, but Goofy will be quick to trade, and surely one of those MP9s is going to scuttle around and grab it. The M4 doesn't look like they managed to get the upgrade. I don't think they did, and maybe Sparrow grabbed it right at the death. But for Wisla, nice clean 3-0 start. Now they've got to deal with the first real round of this half. The Fate buy has come out, 5 AKs, full util behind it.
Yeah, this is where we kind of find out, I guess we can kind of gauge how this game may go. Are Fate going to be able to come alive in the opening gun round? We would hope so. if we're looking for a competitive matchup for sure. 3 over towards B early from Wisla. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary on a map like Inferno. They do toss all the nades down. They decide not to really follow up on the aggression though, and instead are just going to back off, rotate that third player back around now. And well, they've also showed a bit of aggression around the apartment. So I guess it's just about trying to show your presence and be a little bit intimidating at this point towards Fate, who, as we mentioned, haven't been having a good time so far in the season. So if they do have a very slow start into this matchup on their own map choice as well, then that's got to be kind of demoralizing. So yeah, this first gun round, let's see. They are focused up around mid, it seems. Bomb, I think, is going to be dropped. Might want to be a little bit careful there. He doesn't know if there's anyone close enough or not to hear. We can see there isn't, and well, as they push out towards middle, they're going to find it pretty much for free.
Using a lot of utility to do so, but of course understandable. Unaware of the CT's positioning, and problem for Fate now becomes they've got no real info. They're just starting to push a couple of players in Patrick and Nikki up Banana, starting to take that control at the very least. But other than that, no idea how this CT setup is. They've peeked once into bracket, haven't left anybody lurking there, haven't really got any control in that direction whatsoever. And it's going to be a straight B here. It's going to be down to Sparrow and Jedka to lock this one out. They've got a Molotov again, a smoke to follow it up. And with 20 seconds left, Sparrow, a little risky with the Molotov in hand, still finds the dink and will be able to drop it as he escapes through CT. And that is going to do all the work for Wisla. The rotation of the third man has already come in. That Molotov is making this so difficult. Milky's going to swarm into this site, but Jedka just hiding in the Molotov. The spray down to deny the plant. Sparrow goes through the smoke for two, runs out of ammo, but it won't matter. Wisla still going to have their fourth round, looking to hunt down Nikki, but he will be able to hold on to that AK-47. And again, the util is just doing it all for Wisla.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. They held off. They waited to get everyone in position. No one overextending until they literally had to. The only reason the player back in quad even peaked was because he was mollied out, and even then taking one kill with him. A crazy play then through the construction smoke for that double kill, and obviously to just leave the final player with no time for a bomb plant. So yeah, Fate, not how they were hoping for that opening gun round to go at all. They get demolished on their way in towards B, and well, without even getting the bomb plant down, unfortunately, it means they can't come quite on towards that full buy. We were talking about who needs to show up, obviously, during the pre-stages of the game while we were on the desk. We were saying Shake and Milky need to show up. It's still very early days here, but we're certainly not seeing it yet. We're not having Rockin show up either, who has been one of the players that they could kind of rely on. So yeah, it's just a slow start across the board at the moment from Fate. Oh, we got a hero AK. Oh, that was just saved over, wasn't it? He did end up surviving.
Yeah. Nikki managed to hold on to the AK, but pistols around it. Good utility again, invested by Fate. Clearly got an idea of how they want to approach these kind of rounds. You got 4 HEs picked up by the T side. You have to imagine they're meant to be stacked somewhere. Goofy trying to take them away. It's an awkward fight indeed. And actually, Nikki, the hero AK, going to be able to do something about it. Ponchek goes down. That M4 in a recoverable position. And the pressure just starting to pivot over towards Wisla as well. Fate with the early man advantage, admittedly not with a lot of health to work with. And Jedka cutting an isolated figure over towards that B bomb site.
Oh, just as they head in this direction as well. He has a molly, he has a flash and a smoke, so he's got nearly the full set of nades, and he also has Sparrow inbound to give him the assistance with a second Molotov. So this is actually very quickly turned into I was going to say a much better position for the hold, but no. The nades don't go down. Shake just running in with the M4 takes off the head of Yedgar as he was preoccupied with his teammates. And although there is the trade through the smoke from Sparrow, they've still come into a very difficult 3-on-3. And with Goofy already dinked up, unless Sparrow's able to get a relatively quick kill here, then it's going to be a tough time. They could even consider saving, but no, they want to move in. They even have Goofy flanking up Banana there, which is not going to be easy. Yeah, there was a player in the underpass, rocking easy flank, and well, yeah, now it's the save. They can't do anything about this.
Yeah, it has to be. CT economy, such a fickle beast these days, and rocking. Oh, this is going to be huge. Hades catches him looking the wrong way, trying to clear the arches. Fortunate there for the CT side. They really do need to hold on to these 2 rifles. It's a bit ridiculous looking at it. A 4-0 start for the CT side, but it's still not a good look economically. 2 rifles saved should give them enough of a backbone to buy. Jedka's going to need a drop. Ponchek potentially could do with one as well. But if Fate can get this one across the line now, if they can benefit off the back of that eco round victory, then maybe they can really start to string something together here on Inferno.
Yeah, fantastic way to come alive. They went out hunting even, realizing, well, we have money in the next round anyway. Obviously wanted to take those remaining weapons off Wisla, but doesn't happen. They are able to just about get their full buy back around those weapons now as well, and It doesn't seem to have really stopped the aggressive peaks from Wisla. They're certainly feeling confident. Shot not being connected by Hades as he peeked down mid, but he was giving it a go, and you kind of just keep the possibility of that aggression at all times in the minds of your opponent if you're constantly going for it like that. Punished elsewhere though. Sparrow tried to peek in towards Banana and he didn't have as good of a time. So yeah, early on at least, it is going to be Fate who take some decent damage and some pretty solid map control as well as they move in towards Banana with a lot of time on that clock. So they're not in too much of a rush to actually make that commitment happen. They can take their time. They can try and run down a few more of those nades, which we know have already been an issue for them. And well, they can try and just probe around and see what else they can take control of as they get again the idea to move back in towards middle and pretty much at that point just restrict all info for the CT side.
Wisla trying to regain that banana control, the Molly Smoke combo to try and flush the man out, but it's going to be Hades instead, under pressure towards Bracket, and a huge headshot from Nikki. Patrick reciprocates over towards the B bomb site, so CT stuck between a rock and a hard place, can't even commit the rotations to try and make this one a reality. Goofy is going to try going right through the smoke, but with numbers thinning, it's going to be awkward. Does isolate the bomb planter at least, and finds himself the second. With 27 seconds left on the clock, his teammate desperately isolated. He needs that rotation to come in soon. He's being pincered from both sides. 20 seconds. He has to find a clean headshot and does. Milky last alive and he can't do it. It's Goofy with the huge 4-clay clutch towards top banana. You could not ask more of your CT side there.
Jesus Christ. Chill, Goofy. I mentioned that he was one of the players since he was brought in. He's been fitting in incredibly well. He's been one of the top fraggers alongside Hades. And yeah, damn, showing it to us right there. What a round. A bit of revenge for when they had lost up against the Eco, obviously, previously as well. Firing right back and just not allowing for any sort of momentum for Fate to be built up. But not just that, to knock them down with one player just stepping up in such a ridiculous fashion. You can see instantly it did prompt the pause, and well, that was completely understandable. Again, this is the choice of Fate, so they do not want to be letting this get any further out of hand before they actually get going. What are we seeing on the scoreboard? Nikki up there on 5, another one of those experienced players that you would expect to be able to deliver. I think Nikki and Rockin especially are going to have to come alive in clutch situations throughout this game, and you're going to need those new stars to, well, pop off, especially here on the T side with entries.
Definitely feels like it. On check. Able to trade, but it's trades 1-for-1 at least for Fate. The control, not quite there. Hades looking to make sure Banana is on lockdown and actually manages to find his team the man advantage as well. Early chaos over towards the B bomb site on Inferno, but it's come out in favor of Wisla. Rocking just starting to probe. Might catch a man looking the wrong way here. Indeed, Goofy going to be executed, but once more, Wisla immediately there for the trade. Sparrow rotating in, takes out the apartment's player, and it's all on to Milky, the new lad, the man we said we needed to see stepping up here. He's going to start to clear his way onto this bomb site. Sparrow has avoided his crosshairs for now as he's rotated in towards the bracket, calling his AWPer to bear as those footsteps surely should be heard. Yes, Sparrow's going to turn around. He knows where this last man is now. And the 2-on-1 clutch for Milky to try and contend with. Smoke goes towards long, has a Molly and a HE to work with, but does he dare get them out? Lines up the first headshot. It's awkward, but he will land it. And now it's all on to Hades, one of those stars of this Wisla lineup. The AWP has been such a critical part of their successes, but he's stuck for now behind that smoke, and all the while the bomb is ticking down. Milky just tucks himself in towards the graveyard. Hades, surely no way he can clear this in time. That bomb is so far gone, and he's not even looking towards the graveyard. He's trying to clear his way into the site, and Milky will get the backstab. A second round on the board for Fate. And to be honest, it's off the back of pretty much just sheer chaos.
Yeah, that was just a crazy round altogether. He ended up creeping out through balcony at the time in there. I thought he initially was going to catch the player walking up short. And then I honestly thought it was going to backfire on him that he didn't because he wouldn't be aware of the player. But yeah, they ended up just trying to move in individually pretty much on the retake and giving Milky those chances to make the clutch happen. And he was not going to miss. I had said we needed the clutches coming in from the experienced players, but no, it's Milky who steps up and delivers one in that exact same round. That's what you want to see. It's a force buy now as well from Wisla, so a chance for Fate to fully break them off the back of this round and suddenly get themselves right back into this game in a pretty decent position at that point with a solid enough foundation. Obviously one they'll want to build on more, but it is not too late in the game as of yet. Nice shot by Nikki. Yetker only with a deagle. Okay, he actually catches Nikki somehow around the edge of the smoke while full sprint. But thankfully, Patrick is there for the trade, so there's not going to be much else to be done. The bomb should be planted on B, and honestly, at this point, the two pistols in Kevlar that are left in the hands of Wisla alongside a couple of nades probably should just be saved. Give a small chance for some damage to be done in this next round as well, where otherwise they are going to be working with probably just even default pistols or maybe a couple of P250s at max. Oh, they might even catch an AK off Rockin'. This could be risky. No, not able to get it. Damn, that would have been such a big find for Goofy, especially after what we seen him do with the AK just a few rounds back.
Yeah, that would have been so
Oh,
critical. Ponchek at least able to get one, but his position's now known. I'm not sure if he even goes for it. He's going to try and grab himself that AK-47. Does have a smoke in hand if he's spotted by anybody, but with 20 seconds odd left on that bomb, should at least be able to save one rifle into the next. And as you said, a little bit of Kevlar behind it. He can even drop that deagle onto a teammate. It's just about giving yourselves a little bit of bite to match your bark in this next round. Otherwise, you're looking at full eco, absolutely nothing, maybe a couple of upgraded pistols. At least having that one hero rifle, in this case an AK-47 saved across, it gives you some kind of opportunity, right? We saw Fate using it well through Nikki. Expect to see Ponchek getting very aggressive into this round to try and make it a reality. As yeah, he drops Hades the Deagle, so a little bit of bite. I'd like to see maybe some aggression from these default pistols. Sparrow picking up a Zeus, so fingers crossed we get to see something special out of that. But it's definitely a chance for Fate now. Consolidate, grab your fourth round without losing too many casualties, and maybe, just maybe, you can build something into this half.
he's brought over towards Banana. I was thinking we might have maybe seen the Zeus in the apps. This isn't going to work. At best, he gets the one kill and then gets traded. It's only really useful if you catch kind of a stray player, someone who's creeping forward on their own. It's going to actually give you the chance to get that weapon out as well after getting the kill. It's the weapon snatcher. That's what it is. But no, it doesn't work out in this case. So I mean, they've still got the AK there. They can get a few kills, but I wouldn't fancy the chances of Wisla of actually winning this round anyway. It should be pretty straightforward for Fate. Obviously, the fewer casualties they suffer, the better, because their money, while there is a bit there in the reserve, it's not too great. It's a position where a round or two could instantly break them down. And we know how how tough of it rather Wisla can be to stop once they get going. Kind of just a Polish thing in general, I suppose, over the years of Counter Strike. But yeah, Hades alone on B. He's got the one upgraded pistol at least that was given over to him by Ponchek. How much can he deliver with four players coming in with nades being piled over as well? It's surely going to be too tough of a time for him. One or two kills, I think that's what he's going to aim for. A little bit of damage, something to make it at the very least a costly round. And no, he's not going to be allowed. Milky, the man who had clutched out previously, going to go ahead and give an entry. That should confirm the round at this point. They save the AK, I'm sure, maybe leave Goofy and Yedker around to catch a player or two as they exit and try and just finish off those men that they had at least tagged up, rather.
A lot of unconfirmed damage through the smoke. You do wonder if they knew that they tagged two players down to about a third of HP each. Maybe you just leave Ponchek lurking here a little while longer to try and get some damage on those exits. But it is just going to be these default pistols. And as Rocking deals with Jedka, that should be game, set, and match. Ponchek, of course, will try and hold on to that AK 47 again, giving himself a little bit more into the next round. Still got armor and Kevlar behind it. So plenty of investment that he can hold on to. Maybe looking to drop a teammate. Maybe you can get that AWP out. Get something going at least, as Patrick is just thinning the numbers. Goofy taken out. It's really unfortunate again for Wisla. Three players at this point must have taken three dinks from the USPs spread across all three. A little unfortunate that they don't find a single frag in the round, but I'm sure they're not going to be too fussed. The buy will come in regardless. Ponchek with that saved cash can start picking some bits and pieces up, drops an M4 across to the team. No AWP in session, and potentially Shake can make something happen as a result of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, it is Inferno, so you don't necessarily need it, but I think on the CT side, you'd want to have it, especially if the Ts do have one in play, which, as
Yeah.
you pointed out, Shake does indeed, so we'll see what he can do with it. Can be tough to make work on this map, but with his opponents only on rifles and with a general kind of lack of nades, meaning that Wisla are going to have to be more conservative with them, he could definitely have some chances. I like this setup on quad right now. This is going to be really difficult to deal with, and yet I have no chance. That's the bomb. The bomb already dropped deep out in mid. A third player who tries to follow up without any support from his teammates gets obliterated, and they nearly catch the timing on Ponchek, but it doesn't even work out. Rockin' gets destroyed. What was that round? Not a single casualty for Wisla as they bounce back. Well, loud and clear, I would say, with that one. They're going to say, yeah, you broke our economy earlier on, but yeah, now that we have the rifles again, it's not going to be quite as easy as you were thinking. Obviously, we mentioned Fate; they have enough to buy back in here as they didn't take much damage in the previous round. But yeah, they've spent everything, so both teams are actually in a little bit of a rougher position economy-wise if they're to lose this one. So a very crucial swing round right now towards the middle of this half. Oh, look at Milky caught perfectly between the two mollies. Thankfully, no one tried to peek in. Oh, the nade though.
Big damage coming in. Wisla, they've been throwing those nades consistently, and this time they do catch a man off guard. Hades, off the previous round, getting a free upgrade onto an AWP as well as Fate. Do clear out this early banana control. Doesn't look like they want to fully commit to it just yet, with the bomb still all the way back in spawn, learning the lessons of the previous round, not committing the bomb to an early peak. That's never going to end well, and we saw just how badly it can go in the previous. But after gaining that early control, seems like they want to route back towards this A bomb site, maybe try and probe for any aggression from the CT side. Wisla, a fairly heavy stack over towards B as well. Currently 3 players there. They need to get a bit of a shift on with this re-aggression. You could see on the minimap Jedka pushing up towards top banana, dropping that smoke to maybe allow someone to make their way back towards A. But Fate, well, they've made a little bit of noise. They're not sure, are they? They're still lurking in towards mid, in towards bracket. Still, Patrick holds for any over aggression from the CT side on B, and now that bomb will be recovered. Now it will start to head its way over towards A, but Wisla, fantastic read on the situation. 4 players here, a Molotov drop towards long with 30 seconds left on the clock, and again, that time is going to become Fate's worst enemy. Sparrow will take the early contact. Nice spray for one. The trade does come through at least, but there's plenty more CT presence where that came from. Interesting peek from Goofy. He gets taken down, and suddenly this is looking awkward. The spray from Ponchek can only find one, and the CTs have got a very awkward retake to contend with 8 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, and that could have been the opening back in. Unfortunately, Hades doesn't catch the booty of Rockin' bouncing around on the bomb site. He was giving him the opportunity, flaunting it. But yeah, Yedgar up on the corner right now alongside his teammate who's actually came back around the side in library. Probably not too great of an idea to be moving in from there. So smoke down towards the pit to give some room to move in. And, well, do they actually want to move in is what I'm wondering. No, they do not. I was kind of curious at that point because the time was already taken away incredibly quick. So unless Yedgar rather had started to run in and try and find an immediate opening with the M4, there was just no chance. So yeah, they do begin to back away and save. That was just a tough position there, honestly, on the hold for Goofy. As you said, peeking in and getting taken down so early on there just immediately collapses the entire A bomb site defense. But the issue was they were also getting wrapped on. So he needed to ensure that his player on the bomb site who was fully focused on long at that moment wasn't going to get pushed in on. So it was kind of a fine line, unfortunately, that he had to play of peeking and taking at least some of the contact to slow things down on the short push so his teammate could deal with long. And obviously it didn't work out. So yeah, Wisla left in a difficult spot where they put all of the money back into the reinvestment now. And a chance for Fate to tie things up and honestly propel themselves then into the lead off of that rather. Oh, we're seeing this aggression though. I was going to say could be caught by Shake, but although he does realize there's a player who's peeked in, he just hasn't been given any vision. And he's lost a teammate.
Really well played. The AWP there to make sure there's no wide swing down mid. The second mid aggression comes in. Goofy gets himself an early pick, and Fate just didn't look like they were even aware that was a possibility. They had a man holding. They thought he'd pick the man off, but it's not going to happen. And Hades will make that AWP sing once more. Rocking goes down, and Sparrow with the second AWP duties finds a nice tag through the wood. Going to need a little more than that. Being rushed down, connects the first shot. Can't quite find the flick. But with a teammate there to back him up with the Molotov, it's not going to matter. You could see Fate desperately wanted to run that AWP down, but the utility just a little bit too good for the CT side, and Fate once again find themselves in a very awkward position. I mean, what do you even do here? 50 seconds left on the clock, 5-on-2. Economy very unbalanced on the T side. They're going to commit all their utility over towards B, hoping maybe they can flush a man out with 40 seconds left on the clock, but it's going to take a miracle from Shake on that AWP, and Nikki trying to get something done with the rifle takes more damage through the smoke. Let's see what they can find, but Sparrow's already taken out one. This should be a done deal. Shake up on first orange is an interesting angle to work with, but Jedka's going to be able to deal with him easily. So Wisla just really taking the fight to Fate again. We said previously we expected to see Wisla going for those aggressions, going for those big in your face. We're the better team. We're going to take this fight to you kind of rounds. And to be honest, that's where a lot of their CT success has come from.
Yeah, it seems like when they sit back, Fate feels certainly a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, being allowed to get a bit more control in those rounds, especially around mid, I think is where they've been utilizing that control pretty well when given the chance to get it. Whenever we have seen Wisla challenge, such as the round when they put 3 in towards quad, there wasn't really much resistance, actually, much of a fight put up by Faith, rather. Maybe had been taken for granted how easy it had been in those previous rounds. But yeah, back on the pistols now, unfortunately. I said in that previous one, it was the chance for Fate to break Wisla, to send themselves up into the lead, and to start coming out with the T side that I would imagine they'd be aiming for coming into this, especially with it being their own map choice. Now, unfortunately, it's a concede the 8th round and then try and come back up towards 7, which would still be a pretty good half. It's just not going to be an easy task by any means. They have a bit to work with, though. Patrick has even gone towards a nade. Didn't really buy anything else. Oh, the Tech 9 up close, nearly catching Ponchek. Realizes at this point that he doesn't need to stay around so aggressive, considering what the opponents are likely working with after he spotted that pistol. Hades also alone on long, though, so a position which could be isolated. This could get dangerous. If a flash comes over, if he gets blinded up, the pistols close in the distance, and Op then could have been stolen away. But no, they want to go all up through quad, so it is going to be instead on towards the bomb site where they have to fight. And, well, Ponchek and Goofy are not having a tough time. It's 2 each so far, and although Ponchek will fall to Rockin, the trade was immediately ready as they had delayed plenty of time for Hades to rotate back around in towards Moto. So there we go, 8-5. That round pretty much as expected with just the one casualty. The issue is with no bomb plant, Rockin and Patrick, well, their money's not looking too good. Rockin can scrape out the buy, but Patrick, on the other hand, he's probably going to be put towards a weaker weapon. Yeah, the Mac 10. Gets them nades at least.
It definitely felt like Fate were thinking about a bomb plant, post plant situation there, right? They had a pre-planned execute. They had Rocking to flush the early control out of the apartments, and they tried to make something of it, but it just wasn't happening. And once again, it is just not working out. Goofy fully blinded, Nicky fully blinded. It's the CT side who come out on top with the early pick. Potentially some kind of rifle recoverable, but Patrick, well, he just keeps on taking more damage without seeing a single CT player. Sparrow will land the tag through the half wall. And that's yet more damage for these CT rifles to work with. Fate, I think, looking just a little bit rattled here. They wanted that early banana control. The denial has been absolutely perfect from Wisla. Now they're going to be walking into yet another nasty crossfire. Nice pop flash from Goofy to find yet more damage. There should be a refrag at least, but Rocky now isolated at bracket will be traded by Hades. And 4-on-2, that low HP player still on the server. Ponchek, he should have an absolute field day here.
Oh, well, if he can help his teammates out, that is, because up until that point, they'd just been tucked away, and, well, only comes away with a single kill. Considering how kind of patient he had played that, he definitely would have been aiming to kind of just put a stop to the round at that point and deny the bomb plant. So there is at least that success being found for Shake, but now he's got to play out the 1-on-2. Does have time to move back in and get a strong position, but he actually wants to stick around. He wants to drop this into the 1-on-1 and then move back over towards short to play off of that bomb. Can he catch the initial kill to fade away? It's unfortunately being left a little bit too long, so they're ready for the double swing. And there you go. Yedgar hits the shot. Even if he hadn't, the Sparrow was up close, ready to swing in on the op as well. And yeah, a little bit too much for Shake to handle, unfortunately. He had the right plan, though. He had the right idea of trying to drop to the 1-on-1 before he fell back to play a bit more passive. Because obviously, if you get caught in the 2-on-1 at that point, they might still have some nades. They can get one on the bomb, one cover in. They throw in a flash or even a smoke, and it's just done for at that point. But it doesn't work out. At least the bomb plant gives them a, I was going to say manageable buy. It's okay, we'll put it that way. There's a few rifles in there, a couple weaker ones, of course, a couple of SMGs, but it's Inferno, and we've seen their aggressive rounds, the quick rounds, be the ones where they found most success so far.
Going for it again, but that's a gorgeous shot from Hades to open things up. Milky going down very early on. That smoke being caught by the Molotov. It gives half an angle to Goofy. He'll have spotted all these men out, made the call, and this time Ponchek connects. Plenty of damage on the server for him to work with. Hades inside of the bomb site, baiting to perfection. And it's all on Shake. There's nothing he can do. Double digits for Wisla on the map pick of Fate. And when we come back with the second half, they're going to need a massive comeback. See you guys in a sec.
fear in your eyes as we move through the dust. Nights turn into days, one by another. Under darkened skies, we await, bound to each other. But our spirits never die. Whoa, faded as we push through the darkest times. I'll be there by your side. We arise when everything's breaking. Our souls will awaken. Our spirits never die. At the end of the line, the trust in our hearts beating louder. Under darkened skies, we await, bound to each other. But our spirits never die. Whoa.
A dominant first half from Wisla and Fate, left scrambling a little bit towards the death. It's me, Wolfie, joined by Dean to bring you the second half of map 1. And on Fate's map pick, I don't know about you, Dean, but I think they need to be bringing something pretty dominant to the CT side.
Yeah, one thing that kind of gives me some hope is that we were seeing the fragging prowess at points coming through. We've seen Shake have a couple of good moments. Obviously, we had some clutches coming in from Milky, especially. If we can get that all gelling together now on the CT side, then there is still the ability for them to, of course, make this comeback happen. And it needs to, because as we mentioned, this is Fate's map pick. They could not really afford to lose this one. Even with the next map being Train, one that they themselves can play, and one that they even had a really good showing against Windstrike on, despite losing. I think it went to a double OT even. The issue is it's just such a good map for Wisla. Wisla don't care that they've had a couple of close games on it, because Wisla themselves are a fantastic trained team. So yeah, it's a tough series ahead of Fate right now, and well, they need to come alive as soon as we get back into this action. That pistol round is going to be so important. And well, speaking of it, here we go. Nades wise, just Nikki picking them up, and surprisingly not a kit. Ooh, that indicates that they're hoping no bomb goes down. They want all these kills coming in cleanly.
Don't know about you, I am not a fan of no kit on CT halves of Inferno.
Yeah.
You need some kind of defuse. You can see Wisla, 2 smokes, a flash, a Molotov. They're set up for an execute. They're already planning their after planners. They just try and wait out any opening CT aggression. Milky will take the early contact, trying to bait this one in for Patrick. It's an awkward fight initially. The Dink's being trade. Goofy goes down to 24 HP. Wisla really looking like they want to try and take this banana control early, but Fate, at least for now, are going to hold on. It's an awkward initial fight, damage taken either way. Nikki luckily manages to get away alive. The man holding all the util really can't afford to go down early, as now Wisla starting to stack things up. 4 players taking that banana control. The utility will start to be lined through. It's going to be a straight take of this B-bomb site, I suspect.
Yeah, it's going to be Patrick and Milky who have to put in the defense. No nades to hold it off. It's just shots that have to be connected. And, well, that molly not quite landing in quad as it was intended. No, never mind. It did actually spread backwards and send Patrick into the open. There is still Milky tucked away in the back corner, but he doesn't make it work for any kills. It's going to be a clean sweep on B as the bomb goes down. And, well, as the chances continue to diminish for Fate in this game, it is not looking good. You do see Rockin sticking around, hoping for a little bit of action. Yeah, Shake right behind them. And, well, they are being given peaks because Wisla are just rolling in confidence right now. They really don't care. They're willing to take all of these fights. And, yeah, well, eventually they do just drive through the final players in the spawn. There it is, 11-5 in favor of Wisla. I was trying to stress before how important that pistol round was. I don't think it was even needed, because at this point, most teams realize when you're down 10-5, if you lose the pistol, you're in a lot of trouble. And that's the case. Fate themselves realizing it now. They're going to try and come back in with this force buy and win it out. Even then, though, not fully. They actually keep some money on Shake, which I'm good with.
Pistols. Always so critical. And I mean, Goofy on 24 HP getting 2 kills is just not acceptable from a Fate perspective, right? Milky had to hit one shot, had to buy time to keep his team hope in that round alive. can't quite find the connection. As a result, Wisla, well, they just steamroll their way in towards that B bomb site. They've gone for the force, as you said. Couple of Deagles, couple of P250s, Rocking at least able to upgrade to an SMG. But unlike Whistler's CT side, we're not seeing any Molotovs. So far, just investing into the smokes, just looking to hold time off with those smoke walls. And still, to be fair, Patrick holds on to his over towards this B bomb site with the utility coming over the top. Surely has to get rid of it at this point and does. It's an awkward one, though. That, I think, has landed on the top of the coffin. So these Deagles are going to be put in such an awkward spot, and it's all too easy. Whistler just mop up those two opening frags. Nothing Fate Esports can do about it. Bomb will go down. They get some damage, sure, but almost immediately you can see the CT side looking to the save. Rocking, he wants to keep his hands on that MP9. His teammates have got some armor behind them. If they don't save anything at all, this is full default pistol, so I don't mind it. Give themselves something to work with into the next round. The problem is, given how hard of a T side they had, this is going to be a 12th. You have to think that Whistler will be able to convert a 13th, and then Fate, they are very quickly running out of chances on their map pick.
Yeah, it's getting into kind of desperate territory at this point. I wouldn't imagine they'll risk another force buy or anything around this because you do need at least a gun round to come out to try and give yourselves a chance. And even if they don't manage to come fully back into Inferno here, which is starting to look a bit difficult for them, I do at the very least need to see them wake up and start showing what they're capable of. Come alive and get a little bit more warmed up, because in the end it is still a best of three. Even if this is their own map choice, there's still more maps that they can look towards. But it's going to be that first gun round, I think, that really gives us a signal if they're here to fight on the CT side or not. For this one, few weapons being saved over, as we mentioned. We were good with that happening. Give basically another chance like they had in the previous round. Probably not to win it, considering they have even less here, but at the very least to try and take away a few weapons and ensure that going into the first gun round, they have a chance of breaking down Wisla. But yeah, an MP9, few flash, or rather one flash, sorry, I thought I saw a few flashes. It's 3 smokes instead that they have in play. So if they can conserve those, if it is a slower round from Wisla, then it could get maybe dangerous in the late moments of the round. But I don't know if Wisla are going to be playing at such a pace that that's going to really become an issue for them, especially with, as I said, just the amount of confidence that they currently have with how the game has been going.
Definitely feels like they are just playing too quickly for these smokes to even come into play for Fate. Right, 1:05 left on the clock, just 2 smokes remaining. Patrick toying with the idea of dropping his as well, and there it will go as the utility actually comes over the top. It's a well-timed smoke to keep Whistler out of this fight, and they're not too keen on going through it, but that doesn't matter when Jedka is landing the MAC-10 straight through the smoke. He'll take out the early presence of Patrick. It's bought time, at least for these rotations, but with just the pistols, how much can they really get done? Nikki looking for one, almost connects the second, but the MAC-10s will start to mop things up. And it's onto Rocking, 1v4, never going to happen. He gets good damage onto Ponchek, but those rifles still stay on the board. Still 3 AKs saved for Wisla, and that was all they were really worried about in those rounds. The MAC-10s, they're just collateral damage. You don't care if those SMGs go down. You just want to keep your hands on the rifles. And as the buy comes in for Fate, this feels like it's already getting towards their last chance.
Yeah, no, I want to see what they can do here. I like that they've sacrificed a couple of weapons as well to get the extra nades. Obviously so important here on a map like Inferno, but are they even going to get much of a chance to use them? Well, they are actually very quickly. Thankfully not getting caught off guard. It looked like maybe they were going to be caught around mid right there. But yeah, Molly's in such down delay for a couple of seconds, but it still looks like Wisla do want to eventually push in towards middle here, and they could have a tough time because it's currently a 4-man stack, and Molly does keep a couple of the players at bay in on quad, and well, yeah, Rockin' and Shake just couldn't help out as Milky was isolated and taken out with only a single frag. And I was going to say, with the other player also going down without being able to even able to contribute, but a good return from Rockin'. They didn't expect that late aggression in from short, and I don't think they expect the second player here alongside him either. As well, they still look to actually move towards A, despite at this point being completely locked out of bomb site again. Oh, Rockin's leaving, is he?
Timing, he's heard the smoke and will turn around. Nice headshot onto Sparrow to give his team the man advantage. First time in a while as Shake spotted out in towards the pit, using the utility to keep himself alive. The rotation is good, and Fate will have their first rifle buy on the board. Again, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of madness, some re-aggression coming in from the CT side, and a couple of nice timings to get themselves on the board. The problem is it's not going to get any easier, right? We saw those opening rounds so clean for Wisla, so they're straight back into the buy. They get Hades onto that AWP, and there's still sacrifices being made for Fate. Still a couple of FAMAS to allow them to pick up that full util, and potentially something Wisla can look to exploit moving forwards.
Yeah, we do see the three-man B stack early. Not going to actually get any aggression in. Unfortunately, that was just because Wisla had a good spawn. They were able to get the molly down at the car to stop the aggression. And I believe I've even topped it up since then. And a pretty solid nade on Patrick, so I don't know if they really want to stick around with this aggression too much longer. Throwing in the last of those nades, pretty much. Sparrow could be in trouble, but he has the smoke still to go down. And at this point, it's just about wasting some time, I suppose, around Banana. The issue is they're using all of those nades. There's 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining, and there's 1 smoke, 3 flashes, and 2 HEs across all of Fate. So Wisla are incredibly happy with what they've been able to run down here in the opening seconds. And you can see just because of the amount of utility usage over towards Banana, they've called for it to all be moved back in this direction. Initially having players around second mid holding the apps push and such, but no. Now they just want to directly hit B. They still have a smoke on Nikki. That's Patrick alongside him, unfortunately, who doesn't have anything and, well, is already tagged up a little bit, which doesn't matter when he gets hit in the head. Nice shot by Sparrow. He does end up getting cut off by the smoke from his teammates, but they just spam through for the trade. Edgar catches the return using those tracers to pinpoint the position, and as the bomb now goes down on B, the call is, well, made already. They don't want to move for it. They need a save. They need to have something to work with in this next round, as they aren't really looking to be eco and to just play for an overtime at this point.
It's all too easy, isn't it? It's all too easy for Wisla to get into that B bomb site. As you said, Fate committed so much utility early on. After the initial nades were traded, it really did just look like blind panic. They were just dumping everything, smokes, flashes, mollies going in all at once to try and buy as much time as possible. When you're on that B bomb site on Inferno, you have to be holding on to at least a smoke, and in my mind, a Molotov as well, just to stall out that exact situation we saw. Sparrow just crouch peeking into the angle, a beautiful headshot, don't get me wrong, but then his teammate just doesn't have the utility to buy time. He drops his smoke, unfortunate to get caught through it, but if he's got a Molotov there, he potentially drops that into pool and falls off, rotates round towards the coffins, pop flashes himself back in. The lack of utility gives him a severe lack of options, and from there, a team of Whistler's caliber is just going to punish you, and they do it in fine style. The save, I mean, it at least gives them some kind of a buy into this one, right? They keep 3 rifles up. They can drop around to make it work. Shake will get the AWP in hand, but with just 6 kills to his name in 20 rounds, we need to see some impact from some of these big names. We need it sooner rather than later. You know, we were talking about win conditions, and we said Milky and Shake, the new boys, we want to see them showing up. They haven't yet. They need to get into this server. They need to dial in soon. Otherwise, this map's going to become very awkward very quickly.
Yeah, it's not like we're having anyone standing out as being incredibly poor on the side of Fate either. We're just not having any star players show up. We have kind of a little bit from Rockin'. Again, we've had a couple of clutches from Milky. Shake, unfortunately, hasn't really gotten going, which is forgivable on a map like Inferno, in my opinion, for an Opper. It can be pretty difficult to make work, especially when you started off on the T side, and for the first 7 rounds, especially, you didn't even have any money to buy one. But we'll see. Hades right now holding the banana peak. This is a little bit risky. They actually weren't holding it. And now when the smoke goes, if Milky peeks in, he could be punished. Obviously, there is the player up close then who's ready to swing back in. But then there's also Yedker who's ready for the trade again. Meaning at that point, they could completely clear out banana. And although they probably couldn't commit before the rotations come in, that would just still be a lot of players to lose in those early moments for Fate. So we'll see. It doesn't actually look like there's going to be much done around banana. So now they could have the opportunity for a very quick flank even to come in. Rockin' does escape there from that molly. Good nade in on Goofy as well. And yeah, at this point, just kind of chipping away at the health. And again, for Wisla, just running down a lot of those nades. But there we go. At least this time they managed to catch an early advantage off of it. Rockin' through the smoke, able to take out Goofy. And at this point, what did Wisla do? Because they're even being flanked out. I think they might have spotted Nikki there. Yeah, he's going to throw the flash in. He wants to fight. That definitely shouldn't be sticking around. He's fallen off towards the wall where he'll hopefully be able to just play for the info, and they are in hot pursuit of him, but Shake was ready. They had the up on the hold, and well, baiting Sparrow in, it works out perfectly. A 5-on-3 Wisla right back towards A again. It's not working out. They can't get access to any of these bomb sites and have decided, well, they're not going to try anymore. They're going to save the weapons over and give it a go in the next round instead, where they can drop over to, to Sparrow, I suppose, is the only one who needs it.
Mhm. A little bit of fortune there for Fate. I think you have to say the setup, the aggression towards Banana, and then Wisla not looking to clear it out whatsoever, just going towards that A bomb site. A fortunate headshot. It's a nice angle. It's a well-known pre-fire, but it's a good fortunate headshot nonetheless. Takes out the early man. Then you can start to see the aggression. Then you start to see the individuals coming out for Fate. Shake there to back his MP9 SMGing friend up. And yeah, just really well constructed across the board. I do like that Wisla called it off very early, though. 15 seconds left on the clock. Just go, look, lads, this isn't happening. We need to bail out of this situation. Save across those 3 rifles. Straight back into the next buy, not giving Fate any room to breathe on their CT side. And this time looking to apply the pressure early on. Couple of players peeking towards short and long from that bracket position. They're trying to sneak Jedka up Banana as well, and he is burning a good amount of CT utility away. 2 Molotovs committed. The HE stack's going to come in, though, and Nikki will be credited with the frag. The team effort to find that early man advantage for Fate, and now they just need to hold on to it.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need this early advantage, especially in the rounds where you don't have the nades. Ease a bit of the pressure by taking out one of those players, and then you can sit back. At that point, it's all on your opponent, of course, to try and make that play happen. Still not ideal that with just under 55 seconds left, they are just going to be giving up Banana, and in theory could be giving up mid as well. They're not actually going to have much info to work with at this point, but they have actually made the correct decision to rotate Shake around. He's going to be in towards the spawn, so a smoke could take him out of play pretty quickly, apart from maybe the ability to get a spam or 2 in. But no, he's actually going to move around to construction now, and Nikki wants to sit up in the smoke. Are they even going to flash him through? This is a possibility. Yeah, he wants to go in, catches the bomb carrier and confirms that this is where the hit is, of course, going to be coming through. But only 1 kill. Is that enough? It keeps them the man advantage for now. It allows for Patrick up on second. Orange as they catch 1. And although he probably could have wasted a few more seconds there, he did try to make the play happen before being shut down. And the no-scope. He actually tags up Hades, but just doesn't get the finish. That would have been the bomb denial. I don't even think it was down quite at that point. Shake nearly getting caught even there by the aggression. But yeah, the man advantage for Fate, the damage in their favor as well. And a little bit of nades as well. They have actually a flash here for Rocket, sorry, so they can throw that in as the smoke, of course, blocks them off. Though, what a spray from Ponchek. Tucked in with 2 health now, and, well, there's still a smoke down in the spawn. I thought he was going to try and just hold it, but no. He unfortunately gave up the strong positioning that he had, tucking back in for half a second before realizing, oh, okay, I probably should have just held that smoke. That would have been my best chance.
Small margins, the tiniest of margins, and that opening pick is huge for Fate, right? They needed that man advantage. It goes down to the last man. Ponchek very nearly dialing in the clutch, but just letting off that angle at the worst possible time will mean that Fate, they start to close that gap. 6 rounds the difference now, and Wisla down to an awkward one. They do manage to get an SMG, a few Tech 9s. We all know the random RNG spray of a tech can do some serious damage, but wait and see if they can make anything of it. Aggression, again, the order of service from Fate, just rushing their way down Banana, but Hades is there for the punish. An early pick found. This could get dangerous very quickly.
Oh, thankfully Patrick is going to find a bit more success. I mean, I'm completely good with that attempted play there from Wisla. They ran through the arch smoke, but they only had the pistols as well. If they had caught the trade there, then the whole spawn would have been opened up, and Nikki on B would have been in so much trouble. But obviously, it didn't work out. But this is still winnable. Sparrow actually still creeping around through the arch, catches Patrick eventually. Now they've got a player in on the bomb site and one in the pit to deal with before they can actually take control of the bomb site itself. But with so many angles to deal with, it is, as you can see, a little bit overwhelming for the site defense, and they can't hold on with even a single kill. Barely any damage being done as the bomb's going to go down, and I think Nikki has to save the M4 so they have something to work with here to start fighting back to an overtime. Maybe if he knows how much damage is done, it's worth going for, but does he know quite the extent?
This is the problem. Unconfirmed damage. Surely he has to save this. This was the round that Fate were just meant to be dialing in. Sparrow gets the dink and the conversion. 8 HP, but it doesn't matter with the headshot angle. And that right there was the round that Fate had to dial in. That one had to be perfect for them. Get their economy building. Get their half going on the CT side. Instead, all it takes is a couple of P250 frags, a Tech 9, a little bit of Mac 10 action. for Wisla Krakow to break it wide open. And we do have the pause coming through because, well, this is Fate's map pick, right? This was the one where we were saying, okay, maybe they can pull something a little bit special out the bag. Maybe they've got some strats in their pocket to make this work, because if they don't take this, we're going to train. We're going to Wisla's map pick. It's a map that traditionally they are pretty damn solid on. And you've got to imagine, bringing new young players into a team. It's not going to be easy getting them integrated into train very early on. We've seen a 1 in 3 win for Fate. It's not a good map for them, so they really need to pull their socks up here, try and push this one as far as they can, if nothing else than to warm up and get back into this game for map 2. They'll be hoping, dreaming of an overtime, but with the early utility already in towards Banana, the CT side already being pushed back, and Sparrow, he's just going to swing it straight up, finds the early pick, and there's just SMGs there now over on that B-bomb site. They're going to keep piling this pressure on with the util, and a fully blind Jedka gets the second. Wisla, they're just making this look too easy. The nades are doing so much work, but there's just no frags coming through. Patrick desperately trying to swing in for all he's worth, but there's too many targets, too little time. And Shake, well, we wanted something big. It's going to have to be a 1v4 clutch if he wants to keep his team in their map pick.
Yeah, I've got to say, I don't see it happening right now, Wolfie. We haven't had any of these newer players showing up at the moment either. It's Rockin' and Nikki who've kind of given us some of those rounds. Obviously, as I said before, Milky had that great clutch, but he hasn't been too present other than that. So we're going to need to see a lot more from these players heading on towards Train next, as you said. And there we go. Shake just going to be shot down through the smoke. That is the end of that one, with a very quick 16-8 victory for Wisla. And just what a showing.
Just brutal. We're going to throw it to a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll try and work out what on earth went wrong.